Hi, my name is Janessa Mosqueda and I'm a senior on the Lyons newspaper.
Hi, my name is Abraham Morales and I am also a senior on the Lyons newspaper. We are both news and multimedia editors, and we're also part of the new Equity and Belonging Committee at LT that was founded by the new Director of Equity and Belonging, Dr. Rowe.
We wanted to do a video series covering the topics of equity and belonging because LT is putting a really big emphasis on those topics, and we want to further expand on this using the personal experiences of staff and students at LT.
Yeah, and I know last year Janessa and I both worked on a podcast centered around the achievement gap, and so this video series is kind of a step above that, and we hope to make this a little bit better and a little bit more high quality so we can discuss the equity and achievement efforts at LT, because I know that's obviously one of the biggest things that they're focusing on this year. And to start off, we wanted to share off our personal perspectives. Transitioning to freshman year from middle school was a huge culture shock. It was very different and weird for me to come to a predominantly white high school when I originally came from like low income minority schools. And so experiencing such a big change so fast with also like everything else on top of that was really hard on me, and I'm sure it was on like a bunch of other students as well. But that's kind of like one of the biggest things that I remember where I didn't feel like I belonged. And it was more so too because personal experiences with my peers where there was a hostile environment created, and it kind of proved to me that this isn't an environment where I was welcomed, or nor did I belong. And so I'm really happy that LT is actually doing a lot more this year. Not that they haven't done before, but especially this year where there's more focus to this topic, just because I feel like it's something that is really important, especially for underclassmen and especially for minority students and low-income students.
Did you want to share a positive experience that you've had?
Yeah, I know freshman year, around second semester, my counselor, Jane Bowers, she came to me and she was just talking to me about my courses, and we were going over everything and just kind of like setting everything in stone for next year, sophomore year. But then she also had asked me about my extracurricular activities, and I was kind of like, oop, I don't really have any. And she was just like, oh, we can work on that, like that's okay. And she was always very supportive and very kind to me, which I really appreciated because I was definitely struggling as like a first generation student, and like at a new school and a huge school too, and also at a school where I didn't feel like I belonged because of the big racial and ethical disparities. And so through that, she was able to connect me with the sponsor for NHI, National Hispanic Institute, and I was able to attend their meetings, and from that I was able to create a lot of friendships and a lot of connections, which I'm so very grateful for, because that really kind of gave me a space where I felt like I was welcomed. And for those people who don't know what NHI was, it was a club here at LT that unfortunately was dismantled, and is now Latinos Juntos, which we all know and love. Join Latinos Juntos. But yeah, it was space for a lot of like Hispanic and just minority students in general to come and get together and debate, have fun, listen to music, create and plan events. And it was it was very centered on like leadership, which I really loved. And I know through that it really helped me feel a lot better about my environment, and it made me feel like, okay, I have something to look forward to after school, like despite whatever I may go through during the day, at least I have this one thing that I can rely on that I know I will always feel happy at.
I had an experience similar to Abe with the culture shock. I had previously resided in a majority-minority neighborhood in the southwest side of the city, and I had also grown up around other kids of like Latino and Hispanic descent. And coming here was a big shock to me because I had never been in an environment like this. Of course, it's something that I just had to get used to because it's the environment and you can't change your surrounding factors. But initially, with some encounters that I had with students, and I really felt like I didn't really belong, and it took me some time to adjust just to like the culture of the school, the like student body culture. I had a hard time adjusting, and I was also exposed to the achievement gap here by Mr. Sanchez, who is one of my biggest influences, because before coming here I had no idea what the achievement gap was. I'm typically in like honors and AP classes, and I had asked him, why is there none of the kids who I'm friends with, why are there none of them in my classes? And he's like, well, there's this thing called the achievement gap, and he really wanted to depth with that about that with me, and it really opened my eyes to the fact that there is a lot of injustice within the school system, and we can see that here at school. But LT has been doing a lot since the time that I've been here to combat this, and we both really appreciate that. I've seen a big shift from my sophomore year to my senior year, especially with the hiring of Dr. Rowe, and I can tell that the school is really making an effort to make sure that all students feel included and feel like they belong here. I also joined NHI my sophomore year, and that was because at my previous school there had been a club called Latinos Unidos, and I came here. I was looking for something similar. I happened to stumble upon NHI, and it was there that I met a lot of my friends, and I was able to form I was able to find my community within the school. And then the spring of my sophomore year, with Mr. Sanchez, we started Latinos Juntos, and I'm currently the co-president of that right now. And what we do there, it's just a really chill environment, and there are other students of Hispanic and Latino descent there. You don't have to be of that specific heritage or descent to join, but it's like a big community, and we have a lot of fun, and we have snacks, and that's definitely one of my safe spaces here. I'm also a member of the Student and Equity and Belonging Committee, and we're doing a lot of work to try to further combat these issues. And
Yes.
we are also on the Lyons newspaper.
We are.
Which is honestly, with
The
some of the
best.
people that I found here, it's like a second family almost. Like, we love everyone. We are Abe and I, we joined the newspaper together because I found him in my journalism class.
Yes.
One of the best environments that I did have here was my intro to journalism class, which is where we met Mr. Scales, and that's how we became friends.
Yeah.
And that's how we found each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been highs and lows. There have been highs and lows related to the topics of equity and belonging. We are excited to see what LT is going to do what?
To combat this and to better everyone's personal experiences with equity and belonging. I just always feel like it's never going to be something that's like linear. It's always going to be something that's a lot more of like a roller coaster, because you can't always feel, welcomed. You're not always going to feel welcomed in any, given environment. But I think that because LT is giving more light to this, they're obviously trying to make it so that you feel more welcomed most of the time. And that's what I think I really appreciate. I know with SCBC, the Student Equity and Belonging Committee, we plan so many events every month to make sure that students and administrators too can not only learn about different cultures, races, and practices, but also to just kind of like have a community and have that space where we can all come together and just talk and discuss and learn from each other, which I think that's one of the biggest influences that we need right now, especially if we want to focus it on equity and belonging.
Yeah, and going off of what Abe said earlier, you're not always going to feel comfortable in a situation, and that's okay. And there are some situations that you shouldn't feel comfortable in, and this is, like he said, something that's not linear, and there's gonna be a lot of trial and error with this. But it's good to see the school putting an emphasis on building a community within the students, which I think is really important. To make people feel like they belong, there needs to be a sense of community, which is hard to do in
really
a
hard,
school
yes.
of 4,000 students. But it's not impossible, and everyone appreciates admin's efforts, and we can't wait to see more of what's done. In our following videos, we will be speaking with underclassmen regarding their experiences at LT, upperclassmen and their experiences, and we'll also be connecting with some teachers and students regarding this topic.
Please stay tuned and continue watching our episodes. This is something new to us. I know last year we did our podcast, but that was just audio, and so this is audio and visuals. I hope you like the Lyons newspaper background. This is where we meet, this is what we do. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.